There are always just so many new mystery thriller books that come out every year, and I do not have time to get to them all, but I'm curious about so many of them. So I was like, you know what? I'm bringing a series back and we're going to do a try chapter video so I can see if I want to read any of these new releases that I'm going to talk about in this video. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel. So yes, it is a Saturday afternoon. It's a rainy Saturday for me. It seems to be a theme in the last couple of months, but I am enjoying it. So I thought I would snuggle up on the couch with some good books, hopefully. Got my cup of coffee. This is my first cup of the day, so I cannot wait to have a sip. It's nice and warm. And I have a stack of books here of mystery thriller releases that I am so curious about. And I was like, you know, these are not my usual genres. There are one or two that are on my anticipated releases list that you can see on my GOODREADS. I will link that below. But some of these I just decided to pick up because, you know, why not, for fun? I'll try a chapter and see if I can be convinced to read these books. So without further ado, we're going to get into this, and I am also going to read the first line of each book to you, so we can see if the first line fits with the first chapter, so on and so forth. Right here in this stack, I have 5 books, and then I have 2 other ones that if I have time, I will try to get to. Depends on how long this takes me. I ain't gonna be here all day. Oh, and I also have one on my Kindle. So without further ado, let's just get on into these books. Let's take a sip. I cannot wait. Those of you who drink coffee, you know that first sip is just, I can't wait to get to this because yes. So let me put this down for a second. As I said, I'm comfy, cozy, got my hoodie on because we're going to relax and chill. This is a more relaxed video. My makeup is more relaxed, everything. I guess I will start with the one I have first here on the stack. This is Nightwatching by Tracy. Oh, Lord. I love when my library just puts all this stuff on top of the author's name. Tracy Sierra. I picked this up just for this video. If I want to read it, of course, I will borrow it later because this is what my library has, like, hot off the press, which means you only get to keep it for like 7 days because people are so clamoring to get to it. So again, I borrowed it just for this, but I will return it. And if I want to read it, I will put in a proper hold. So as I said, I will read the first sentence to you, and then I will read the rest, the first chapter off camera. If the prologue is really short, I will read the first chapter as well. Or if I feel like I want a little more after the prologue, I will read the first chapter. But either way, I will report back and let you know. But let's see, Nightwatching is, oh, okay. Yeah, this is the one where we have a woman. It says she's home alone with her young children during a blizzard. So if I like this, maybe I'll save this. I don't want to wait till winter. We'll see. And then it says she hears a noise. She sees a figure of a man appear down the hallway, shrouded in the shadows. She quietly wakes her children and hustles them into the oldest part of the house, a tiny secret room concealed behind a wall. There they hide as the man searches for them. And then it says, in the suffocating darkness, the mother struggles to remain calm to plan. Should she reach for a weapon or attempt to escape? Okay, so it seems like, yeah, this is like a literally locked in a room with her children. So it reminds me of the movie with Jodie Foster. I can't think of the name of it. Oh God, I can't think of the name. I'll put it here on the screen. But yeah, I cannot wait to get to this. But before we do, let's check out the first sentence of this book. The theme of this book is going to be pass or read. I was trying to do a series last year where I was going to be checking out new releases that come out each month and read the first line of them, but that just didn't do as well. And usually I think I want to read a chapter. So we're going to try this. And again, I will just pick random ones each month if I can. It may not be every month though. Hold me to it. So yes, let's get to the first sentence. There was someone in the house. Ooh, okay. Intriguing. So for the first sentence, I give that like a 8 out of 10. I'm here for it. Always here for like a little horror, spooky vibe. So anyway, I'm gonna read and report back. All right, so I finished the first chapter of Nightwatching, and it was short, which we like. It was 6 pages, so quick. From the first chapter, I'm feeling like, okay. Pretty much it just set up that the main character of the story, her daughter, sleepwalks, and how they set up a camera outside her door to keep an eye on her when she gets out of her bed in the middle of the night. And then we jump right into there's already somebody in the house. There's no, regular day at home and get to know them. And then somebody breaks in. It's just, we jump to her talking about her daughter sleepwalking, and then someone's here. And who is this? It's not my husband. What's going on? So like I said, I think the issue for me is that I got nothing from the main character or her children to make me care to want to read anymore. Suspense wise, I'd say it was like a 2 out of 5, which for this type of story, it should be like at a 4 for me. So I'm going to try to rank these at the end. We'll see. But for right now, this one is a pass. So let's move on to the next one. Next up, I have one that is on my Kindle, and I talked about this in my most anticipated books of 2024 video. You know what? I'm supposed to be telling you when these books came out and everything, and I'm just not organized. This one is 5 Nights by Rachel Wolf. This just came out in February 2024, and this is her debut novel. And I forgot to say about Nightwatching. I am just doing terrible. Nightwatching also came out February 2024, and another debut novel. Back to 5 Nights. As I said, this one just spoke to me, so it says, the glamorous, twisty, psychological thriller that will grip you from start to finish. It better. It's a tall order. Like I said, I talked about this in my anticipated reads video, so I'm going to pretty much say the same things because they don't give you much. But it says, a powerful family, a luxury cruise, a killer on board. And then it says, you're invited to join the infamous Scarmardo. Lord have mercy. This one says, you're invited to join the infamous Scarmardo family on a 5-night voyage aboard their glamorous new ship. It's a chance to see your best friend Belle, newly married to Nakia Scarmardo. You haven't seen her in years. And then there's a countdown. 5. On the first night, you'll be wrapped up in the glamour of the ship. 4. On the second night, you'll wonder who is sending you threatening notes. 3. On the third night, someone will die. 2. On the fourth night, you'll discover that someone knows the truth of what you did. 1. On the last night, you'll be left for dead. Will you make it back to shore alive? Now, I am always going to be intrigued by a mystery thriller that takes place on a ship. I don't know why. I've been on a couple of cruises and it's just intriguing to me. So I think it's just the fact that you have something so nice and it gets tainted. And then also you're in the middle of the ocean. Where are we going? So we're going to tuck in and we're going to read this. Let me read you the first sentence before we get there. We got to scroll through. I mean, a lot of people blurb this book, so we'll see. I've never heard of most of them. But anyway, let's get to the first sentence. This one has a prologue, so we'll see if I just read the prologue or the first chapter. I will let you know when I come back. But the first sentence of the prologue says, the invitation had landed on the doormat with the bills, pizza takeaway flyers, and the reminder that the car tax was coming. Okay, so compared to Nightwatching, I'd put this one at like a 2 for first line, but I do like that there's an invitation. So let's read on and see what I think. So 5 Nights did not disappoint. This is a definite must read from the first chapter. We, like I said, found out that the main character got an invite from her best friend Belle, or former best friend. I'm not sure. They haven't seen each other in a while. And we are getting some hints of something happened between the two of them, and also hints that, you know, some things happen that are coming on this luxury cruise liner. And obviously, Belle and the main character's lives have gone in different directions, because at the end of the first chapter, the main character says, so after I locked up for the night, I packed a bag and wondered how, in my cheap clothes and cheap shoes, I could slot into a luxury cruise. So she's not living the luxury life that her friend Belle is. And then the last sentence is, I wasn't supposed to do this, but I'm doing it. I had no idea what was coming. Hopefully a lot, because you hyping it up already. But yeah, I'm intrigued. This was a nice short chapter. Gave me a little bit about the main character, what may be coming. We got some secrets and things that happen between her and her best friend Belle. So like I said, this one is a definite must read. And as far as ranking, this one is clearly top of the list right now. So let's see what else I got on this list. I am actually enjoying myself. This is fun. These 2 that I have on the side, I may get to them because so far all these chapters are short and sweet, which I like. I know in the past when I've done a try a chapter video, I will try to link any of the ones I've done below, but some of them chapters were long and I was like, Lord, I'm not going to get through this. But so far, these are short. So I'm going to change the tone a little bit. This one is a mouthful. Say, The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett, and she is the author of The Appeal. For those of you who have read that and know about that book, I have never read it, but we'll see if I'm interested after reading this one. Came out in January 2024. As I said, this one I think is more of a cozy mystery, but with some humor. But let's see, because I don't really remember. It starts off with, you have a key that opens a safe deposit box. Alrighty. It says, everyone knows the story of the Alperton Angels, the cult who brainwashed a teenage girl into believing her baby was the Antichrist. Oh, you would not get that from this cover. Okay. When the girl came to her senses and called the police, the angels committed suicide. And the mother and baby disappeared. Now, true crime author Amanda Bailey is looking to revive her career by writing a book on the case. And then it says, according to records, the Alperton baby has now turned 18. Finding them both will be the true crime scoop of the year. But rival author Oliver Menzies is just as smart, better connected, and also on the mother and baby's trail. As Amanda and Oliver are forced to collaborate, they realize that the truth about the angels is much darker and stranger than they'd ever imagined. And in pursuit of the story, they risk becoming part of it. So I didn't know we were getting a cult. I have a thing for cult. That is my one true crime guilty pleasure. You will get me with a cult. I don't like cults that have anything to do with things happening to kids. I watched one recently and I didn't know that's where we were going. Yeah, I'm a sucker for cults. They just are so intriguing to me. Even ones that may not be about cults, but about religious groups that do cultish things. I've seen those probably, and yeah, I just am so fascinated. So anyway, that has me intrigued, and the whole, true crime part of it. So let's see, Janice, what we have. I always forget. I'm supposed to be reading the first line. So let's crack this open. A lot of blurbs. Like when I say a lot, my goodness, pages of these. So anyway, let's look at the first. Wait, I'm nosy. Let me see. Do I recognize any of these authors? No. So that always has me kind of like, I don't know none of these folks. At least not on that page. Let me go back to the first page. No. But this also helps me, maybe I should take a picture of these blurbs and see if, any of these authors are intriguing to me. But as I said, I don't recognize any of these. So anyway, let's get to, okay. Well, I guess I'll read you this. This is one, oh my. This is a mixed media type of book because we have here like some emails or something. So this will be interesting to see where I should stop because there's a lot of that. I don't know, but I will read this first intro page or whatever, this first part. It says, you have a key that opens a safe deposit box. Inside is a bunch of documents, archived research material for a book that has just been published. You must read it all and make a decision. Either replace the documents and the box, then throw the key where it will never be found, or take everything to the police. So is that us? And then it says 1, correspondence, background reading, and general prep. So we got to do all this before we get into the book. Maybe I should read the second chapter for this one. I don't know. I'm just going to try some of this and see where I think I should stop because it's all emails. And as it says, background material and all of that. And then I don't even know if this may not work for me altogether because sometimes the mixed media thing doesn't work for me. But I'll report back. So stay tuned. You don't have a choice. You do. Stay tuned. Okay. Clearly, I was all wrong about this book, Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels. I don't know where I got cozy or funny. Don't know where I got that from. But there aren't any chapters in this book. I flipped mighty far ahead, and it's just all mixed media text messages. Are there text messages? I just read this. I don't know. WhatsApp messages, emails. We see some of the research the lady's doing, the Amanda lady, the true crime author. So basically what I got, I stopped on, I guess I could just tell you what page. So I stopped on page 14 right before we got to the list of Waterstone's orders, books for research. So I stopped there. I was like, I will be going and going because this just, like I said, has no chapters. So basically what we found out in the first part where I read to is that Amanda's agent contacted her and let her know that they were going to be working on a series of books called the Eclipse series. It's going to be a series of true crime books called Eclipse. And it says basically each one will put a fresh, dark spin on a well-known crime. The books are supposed to be about cases where there's no mystery and nothing left to uncover. So they have examples of like Jack the Ripper, Fred and Rose West, Moors, murders. I don't know any of those things. And then they mentioned the Alperton Angels, and that's when our main character, Amanda, is like intrigued. She's like, and apparently she's supposed to have all these contacts and social services and it's supposed to be good with getting information. And then basically it's just some back and forth between her and the agent. And then there's a back and forth between her and another true crime writer. And so I will say I was intrigued. Like I didn't want to put it down. So that's a good thing, but it didn't get me as like 5 nights. But I don't know. This one could be a fast read because of all the mixed media. Like I said, I was just flying through it and it's 400 something pages, but it didn't feel like it. I'm going to wait until the end to see where I put this. Right now it is a read. I do want to read it, but like, am I itching? Can't wait. Next book on the list? I don't know. So let's move on to the next book. Okay, so this next one is on my Kindle. I cannot get a hold of it in time for this video, but this one is The Framed Women of Ardemore House by Brandy Schillis. And this one also came out in February of 2024. I'm not familiar with anything else by this author, so we shall see. Should be interesting. And I'm just going to read the little blurb because again, sometimes I like to keep it short and sweet so I can be surprised. It says, an abandoned English manor, a peculiar missing portrait, a cozy, deviously clever murder mystery, perfect for fans of Richard Osman and Anthony Horowitz. I have not read anything from either one of those, so we shall see. This will be interesting. I would say I'm not really big on the cozy mystery genre so far, so I'm gonna give this a chance though and see how I feel. Let's see, do we have a prologue or a full chapter? We do have an actual chapter, and let me read the first sentence. I already see it is so short, so I'll read the first two. The first sentence is, the house was enormous. Okay, I'll read the second chapter. Joe didn't know enough about local architecture to date it, but the walls stretched up in the damp, big and dark lichen flecked. Okay, lichen. That didn't intrigue me, so we'll see. It was starting to feel a little atmospheric too. We got to, and lichen flecked. Okay, so I'm gonna read the first chapter and report back. Okay, so this is the first in the video. DNF on the first chapter. Sorry, I already know this is not for me, and the chapter was long, and I'm like, I got too many other books to try to read, so we can just call this a loss. It's just not my style of writing, and it's too cozy. It was just nothing intriguing about it. So sorry I didn't give it a good go. But like I said, sometimes when you know, and I know that's not my kind of book. So I can't even tell you anything. I read the first page and I was just like, meh, no. So of course, clearly that's a pass, and it goes at the bottom of the list. So let's pick my next book. All right, so next up, this one, I don't necessarily think I've been seeing the best reviews, but I still wanted to try it for this video. This is my way to, once again, dip my toe in. This one is, okay. First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I had to get a good look. This is another of these new ones from my library. I was way down the list for a hold, and I was like, I'll just take this one for the video. Again, if I want to read it, I will stay on hold for it and see how long it takes. This one has some good blurbs on the back. We got AJ Finn, even though not sure about that one. El Casamano from Philly Donovan, Alyssa Cole, Wendy Walker, Ashley Winstead, which I was about to confuse her with. So, okay. And then on the very front cover, we have Megan Miranda with a blurb. So we'll see. And this one came out January 2024. So this has a little bit at the top, so I think that's what I'm gonna read. It says, Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl could want. A doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. The only catch, Evie Porter doesn't exist. Okay, maybe I need to read a little more, because what? It says, the identity comes first, Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. Oh. Then the mark, Ryan Sumner. The last piece of the puzzle is the job. Evie isn't privy to Mr. Smith's real identity, but she knows this job isn't like the others. Ryan has gotten under her skin, and she's starting to envision a different sort of life for herself. I smell romance. Don't know about this. But Evie can't make any mistakes, especially after what happened last time. Foreshadowing. Evie Porter must stay one step ahead of her past while making sure there's still a future in front of her. The stakes couldn't be higher, but then Evie has always liked a challenge. We'll see. As I said, smelling some romance, and I don't like that, but there's romance in Philly Donovan, and I still was able to get through it. So let's see. Let's read a little bit of the first sentence. So we do have a first chapter, not a prologue, and it's short, 6 pages. So we're gonna see. First sentence. It starts with the little things: an extra toothbrush in the glass holder next to the sink, a few articles of clothing in the smallest drawer, phone chargers on both sides of the bed. Nah. This also goes towards the bottom. I don't even remember the other one I didn't care for, so yeah, this goes there with that. Not the best opening, but let's see what else we got. No. Oh my. Yes, there was romance, and not for me. This is not my thing when it comes to mystery thrillers. I really don't like the domestic stuff, and I thought this would be a little more edgy. Basically, it was just the main character, what is her name, Evie, at a party with Ryan where she's meeting his friends and family or something like that, and that was that. Then they go home and they're talking at home about how my friends will love you. No, they won't. And then she sneaks in here and there like, oh, I knew this about him when I was watching him, or I knew this and I paid attention to that, but I'm still not getting like how she's working with Mr. Smith and she has a mark. I'm not getting anything of that. Got to a part where it says, Ryan moves in behind me, his arms skimming my hips until they are wrapped around my waist. His chin settles on my shoulder and his lips press against that spot on my neck in a way he knows I adore. One of the tried chapters I did was romance books. Not my thing. It's just not my thing. Yeah. Standing on my tiptoes, I pull him closer until my mouth is mere inches from his. We both love this part. The anticipation when breaths mingle and my brown eyes stare into his blue ones. We're close, but not close enough. I can't. So clearly this is a no. It's a pass. Will not be reading this. Again, not my thing. I either need atmosphere, which I got in The Only One Left, or I need thriller, edge of my seat, high stakes, The Ascent, Stillhouse Lake, I Will Find You by Harlan Coben. Those are more up my alley. The romance in my thrillers, I dealt with it in Finley Donovan, but I did get annoyed. So anyway, let's move on. I have 2 more in my stack that I was supposed to talk about. 2 more possible. We'll see if I feel like getting to them, because as of right now, the time is 4:44 and I would like to be done by 5 because I have been at this day since 11. Today is the day I did the live show with Gabby Reeds and Gabby from Ola Books for The Fury. So I'm getting a little tired now. And again, we'll see how these next 2 go. If this one I'm getting ready to pick up has a longer chapter, I don't know, because it's a fantasy mystery, so I have no idea. This one, I think I was intrigued by the cover. I'm not sure, but this one is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. And this is the same author of Foundry Side. I believe that's right. I know a lot of people read it and talked about it, but I've never read it. So blurbs on the back, I probably will know none of these people. Oh, Fonda Lee, I have heard of. I did try to read her, what's that series? The Greenbone Saga or whatever, I think. I'll put it here on the screen to correct myself. That's the only name I recognize. Oh Lord, they're gonna make me put my glasses on. Excuse me, yes, I have reading glasses, but this is like this is a 1.25, so it is the lowest you can get. I still got good vision. But anyway, try not to mess up my makeup either, and it has a blue light filter, so probably looks weird on camera. Because of the library, I can't see. It says something here, but I can't see that. So I'm going to have to read a little bit of what this says. This was on my list of most anticipated books for this year, but I didn't talk about it in a video. And it says, in Dertana's grandest mansion, an imperial officer lies dead, killed to all appearances, when a tree erupted from his body. Even here at the Empire's borders, where contagions abound and the blood of the Leviathans works strange magical changes, it's a death both terrifying and impossible. Assigned to investigate is Anna Delabra, a detective whose reputation for brilliance is matched only by her eccentricities. Rumor has it that she always wears a blindfold and can solve impossible cases without stepping outside the walls of her home. I will stop there because we don't want to give too much away, but let's see. I have no idea if this is going to be a short chapter or not. Oh, so this is going to be a series. It says this is Shadow of the Leviathan, Book 1. I dabble in fantasy now and then, and again, if you put a mystery in it, I'm here for it. I see something else though. I've talked about this in a video. I know a lot of you love a map. It makes me think, oh no, this is not for me. We have a map. I don't know about this. Oh boy. And military ranks of the great and holy empire of Kunum, from highest to lowest. I don't think this is going to go well. The first part is called The Man in the Tree, and we do have a first chapter. Let's see about how long it looks. Looks maybe long for me. Yes, we are still going. Oh my. We're going to have to stop at some point because, yeah. The first chapter is 26 pages. I'm not reading 26 pages today, but we do have the little line break thing. So that may be what I do. Stop at one of those. Yeah, because there's like big spaces in between the chapters or in between parts. So that's probably what I'll do. Get to one of these separations. Or this may be a quick DNF. We'll see. We'll see in a minute. A minute for you, not for me. All right, so I just finished up part of chapter 1 of The Tainted Cup. I got to page 9 and I stopped like right here before this chapter break, or before the paragraph break. I'm a little intrigued so far. We're starting with a man named Dinios, Signum Dinios Cole. And from the little chart, it tells you the military ranks. He's a Signum, so he's third up from the bottom. He's not at the low end, and he's not at the top either. And he shows up at this house to investigate this murder, and he is greeted by this man, Atirios, who is a princeps, so he's a rank lower than him. But when he gets to this place to investigate, he hears some women screaming who worked in the house. These servant girls, I believe they're the ones screaming. Yes, the servant girls are the ones screaming, and they found the body hours ago, but they're still bothered. So it's like, what does the body look like that they're still reacting like that? And I stopped right before he goes into the room to see, or the chamber room, whatever. I stopped right before there when he's going to see the body, but he smells something and he says it's rancid. So I don't even know, but I'm intrigued enough. Like, I feel like this one would be cozy for fall, so I may hold on to it for then. It's 400 something pages, but the print is pretty big. Let me see. Yeah, 406 pages. So we'll see. Like I said, this seems like one for fall, but I don't know. You know, there's other things I have going on. And actually, one of the books that I said was an extra book is one I'm already supposed to be reading for my spring TBR, and the hold came up from the library early, but it's Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. So I'm not going to read a chapter. I will save this for you to wait and see what I think when I read the whole book, but short and sweet. And actually, this last book I have here will be the last one. The extra one I had thrown in, I'm too tired for that today. So I won't even tell you what it is, because you may be like, oh man, I wish you had read it. We'll just save it for another try chapter. But this one, I was looking at like books that have been popular so far this year, thriller mystery books, and this one popped up. And I know this is an anticipated release for a lot of people, but that first book that this author wrote, I did not like the style of it. So I'm going to give this one a chance in this video for you and for me too, but I don't know. But anyway, let me tell you what it is, because you don't even know. We're going to end on this note. Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. And he wrote Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. If you don't know, I DNF'd that book because I just did not like the style of that book. I did not like how the main character was breaking the fourth wall and constantly talking to the reader and foreshadowing crap that was coming way later. Like, oh, on page 85, wait till I punch him in the face and stuff like that. I was just like, and then I realized that it says the author is a stand-up comedian, and I was like, maybe just his humor is not for me. But I've heard you don't have to read the first book to read this one. So I'm going to give it a go, and maybe this one will go better. But if it's in the same style, it's probably not going to work for me. So anyway, let's see what I think. Oh, I got to read you the first sentence and tell you when it came out. Clearly, I'm getting tired. We're winding down. Okay, so this one also came out January 2024. And I didn't even tell you what it's about. Like I said, I'm getting tired. It says, for fans of Richard Osman and Anthony Horowitz, a fiendishly fun locked room murder mystery from the author of Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, this time set on a train, Murder on the Orient Express meets Clue. I've seen the movie Murder on the Orient Express. I have not read any Agatha Christie books, and I love Clue. So I don't know. Murder on the Orient Express was all right for me. Wasn't my favorite of the Poirot mystery series, but let's see what this has to say. It says, I'm Ernest Cunningham. Call me Ern or Ernie. When the Australian Mystery Writers Society invited me to their crime writing festival aboard the Gone, the famous train through the vast Australian desert, I was hoping for some inspiration for my second book. Fiction this time. I needed a break from real people killing each other. Maybe I do too. But the Gone is not the respite I'd been hoping for. It turns out I've trapped myself on an 1,800-mile journey with a powder keg of grudges, crime writers with hidden secrets, overeager fans bearing conspiracy theories, and agents and editors undercutting each other in order to sign the next big thing. I realize I have had this fireplace ambiance going, and you probably can hear that in the background, so let me mute that. When one of us is murdered, the remaining writers turn into detectives. Together, we should know how to solve a crime. Of course, we should also know how to commit one. The last thing it says is, how can you find a killer when all the suspects know how to get away with murder? I used to love the show How to Get Away with Murder. Let's see the blurbs. We have Stuart Turton, the author of 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hugo. Also DNF'd that. Jane Harper, I have not read anything from. Nita Prose, The Maid, I love. The Mystery Guest was okay, but I'll take it. Yeah, let's see. A map. This is a layout of the train and a big map of Australia. There's just a couple things on here, so that's not too bad, but we'll see. I'm not going to read this. This starts with the Australian Mystery Writers Festival 5th anniversary program, so I'm not going to read this. It's basically just telling us all the authors that will be attending. I will save that for later if I want to read it, and we do have a prologue. It is very short, so I will go to chapter 1, which is only a few pages, so we'll see how this goes. All right, we read the first chapter of Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. I realized once I started reading the prologue that I did not read you the first sentence of the first chapter. We're not going to read the first sentence of the prologue because that was also like some mixed media. It's an email, so we're not going to read that. I will read you the first sentence of the first chapter, though. Maybe the first 2 sentences. This first one is short. First sentence. So I'm writing again. Okay, let's read the next sentence, which is good news, I suppose, for those wanting a second book, but more unfortunate for the people who had to die so I could write it. That's a good sentence. So I will say I didn't hate it. He's still doing the same thing. There's even a foreshadowing part where I kind of chuckled because I was like, here we go. Apologies in advance for the lack of suspense when I almost bite the dust in chapter 28. That is on page 8. So I was like, you're doing it already, but it didn't bother me this time. Maybe because I already know what to expect, or because he hasn't done it a lot yet. I also like the first part that we get in the prologue. That's an email. It says to redact it at penguinrandomhouse.com.au. So this is supposed to be an agent or something. And it's basically the author, but writing as Ernest Cunningham, who's our main character. Basically that he doesn't want to do a prologue for the book and that he thinks the prologue would give too much away. And then it says, P.S. After what's happened, I think it's fairly obvious I'll need a new literary agent. I'll be in touch about that separately. P.P.S. Yes, we do have to include the festival program. I think there are important clues in it, and that is actually here, the festival program. So I actually got to chuckle at that. And then the next one made me chuckle too because I'm big on grammar. PPPS, grammar question. I've thought it funny that Murder on the Orient Express is titled as such, given that the murders take place in the train and not on it. And then he goes on to talk about, like, he was wondering if he should call this everyone on this train as a suspect or everyone in this train. So again, I thought that was pretty funny. But the first chapter, we're just getting set up, his usual style of him just talking about like things that are coming, how many people are going to get murdered, some of the things that are going to happen on the train and that kind of thing, what you need to be looking out for. So again, I wasn't as bothered this time, but again, we're just in the first chapter. I think when I read Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, I was still on board when I was in the first chapter. So I do want to read this though. We'll see. I also didn't get to say, I probably will check out the audiobook for some of these ones that I'm on the fence about, because sometimes the audiobook will help me, or sometimes a book that I may not have been that in love with reading it physically, I may want to do the audiobook in my car. So anyway, this is a read, but it's still not at the top of my list. The top of the list is still 5 Nights. But let's stack up the ones that I did physically read in this video, and I'll put the other ones here on the screen. Let me put them in order. All right, so here is my final ranking with the other 2 included here on the side. So 5 Nights is number 1. I cannot wait to read that. I'll probably save it for my summer TBR because spring is already set, and DNF the Ardemore house one. But for the physical stack, this is the order. So The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels is number 1 for me. Looking forward to that one. Then Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. Who knew? I thought that was going to be at the bottom of my list, but it was fast paced, so I was along for the ride. Tainted Cup is in the middle. As I said, may check it out for fall. We'll see. First Lie Wins. I'm going to check out the audiobook, because if the audiobook is entertaining, it's one I may listen to in my car. Stay tuned. And Nightwatching, same thing. I'll check out the audiobook to see if that's entertaining. If so, I may listen to that in my car as well. But so far, 5 Nights, and then these 2, and then again, middle. We'll see if I have time or really want to read it later in the fall. These 2 right now are a no, but we'll see how the audiobooks go. So there you have it, my beautiful people. This try a chapter video. I wanted to move around and go sit in other places, but again, I've said this before, my apartment does not get the best lighting, so I have to set up my ring light and pretty much stay put. But hopefully this was interesting for you, gave you an idea about these books by me talking about them, giving you a little taste of what was in the first chapter, letting you know if they sound like your thing or not, and also hopefully the first sentences were helpful too. Let me know if you enjoy this and want to see me do it again, even though I probably will do it again because it was fun for me and I got to do what's fun for me too. So when I get another roundup of new mystery thriller releases, I will do another one of these. And again, my Goodreads anticipated 2024 releases shelf link will be below, because there's plenty of books on there that I have not mentioned at all on my channel, because you know, if it doesn't fit with a theme that I'm doing, I haven't mentioned it. I have some horror books on there, probably some fantasy I haven't talked about, some sci-fi books I haven't talked about yet, so check that out. Of course, all the books I talked about in this video will be linked below, as well as ways you can support my channel. You can always donate towards coffee, tea, books, etc. I also have recently linked my Amazon wish list, so you can check that out too. Another way to support the channel. And let's see an emoji for this video. I am going to go with some kind of ship for 5 Nights, or something to do with a cruise or the cover of the book. You decide. Hopefully I'll pop it back up here on the screen. Now I have to. But anyway, there you go. I'm not ending with my coffee because I already drank it. So there's no need to pretend we already drank that coffee. So now I'm about to go eat some lunch and enjoy the rest of my night and weekend. And I hope you will do the same. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever it is for you. And I think that is all for this video, my beautiful people. So until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, like some of the ones I talked about. Unplug as much as possible. Be kind to all kind. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.